From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is a varsity update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with high school sports writer Jacob Unruh. Jacob, it is week 3 and we've even got some district games this week. 0 week instituted a couple years ago. That also has made some interesting shifting around with team schedules, some teams taking this week off. But amongst your top 10 games, you got a pretty juicy smaller class game right at the top, huh?
Yeah, Class A battle between Cashin and Crescent, two huge rivals. Crescent finally ended a long losing streak against Cashin last season as they went on to the title game. But this year, Crescent is going through a little changes, some personnel changes. They still had Hunter Bauer as a quarterback, though, who put up a monster game last week and a win. And Cashin has Griffin Lamb at quarterback. It should be a good, really quarterback battle. And it's down the road in Cashin. Obviously, two really close communities that have lots to play for. But when you put the implications that this ultimately could decide the district title in a loaded district between these two teams, it's week 3, and we've got this heavy of a matchup.
Wow, that's saying something. Your top 10 has some small class games essentially that lead the way. We mentioned that Class A game, but then your second game is a 3A game, or 3A 2A matchup actually, between Cassia Hall and Millwood, and then a 4A 3A matchup between Bethany and Kingfisher. Those 4 teams right there, there's been a lot of winning amongst those 4 programs over the last few years.
Yeah, I think I saw the total was Cassia Hall and Millwood have combined for 12 state titles the last decade,
wow.
plus. And obviously Millwood features Marcus Major Jr. and Demarion Houston, and Daniel Howard and Isaiah Major. They're really talented still from last year's team that went undefeated. They've won 30 straight games. Cassia Hall is 2-0, and they're looking, they're back in 3A after being in 4A, and they're looking to kind of make a statement here, and going into Millwood and winning would be a huge statement for Cassia Hall. The other game, Kingfisher Bethany, we learned yesterday Kingfisher is a little banged up right now, dealing with Sternberger's injury, and things like that. So that, but Bethany still is a team that I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it's going to be a really close game and really entertaining.
Yeah, competitive programs for sure in both of those games. I always like to give people an idea of a Thursday night game if they've got a Friday night game that's going to take them away. A good Thursday night game. Well, your number 5 game this week is a big class game between Choctaw and Putnam North. A couple teams that are both undefeated right now, and those two teams haven't always gotten to this point with goose eggs on the loss column.
Yeah, they're both off to really fast starts, and going into this, Putnam North is a team that has struggled of late, but they're off to that really good start. They're number 9 in my poll right now in 6A1. They've beat both Putnam City schools that they've played this year pretty soundly. And Choctaw's coming off that overtime win over Shawnee. Then they had to bye a week, and then they beat Lawton Ike last week. And I think this is an interesting matchup to kind of as a measuring stick to see where both these programs are as they kind of rebuild. All
right, lots of good games in week 3. Next week will be almost full-fledged district play across the board, so the games really start to have some weight to them. But there's lots of games this week. Be sure to check out Jacob's Top 10 on newsok.com, and be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.